Hey, Raider Nation. Thank you for joining us on the Only Nation podcast, brought to you by the Raider Ramble. My name is Heidi, but you may know me as KevlarPromDress or even Raider Ladybug. I'm here with Raider Homer and T3RaiderFax, and we're ready to talk some Raiders football together.
Always ready to talk Raider football. We are 3-3 Raider Nation, so keep calm and Raider on.
Time to get back in the saddle and start stringing together some wins. Let's go.
Let's go.
All right, today on the show, we'll be licking our wounds a bit from the Bucs game by bringing in the Violator for an awesome interview.
Man, it's always great to talk to Wayne. That dude is a great ambassador for the Raider Nation, a great supporter of all Raider Nation, in not just podcasting, but people that want to take their fandom to the next level and gear up. I mean, the dude's an inspiration, and he has been for a long time.
If he doesn't pump you up, nothing will.
That's true. All right, Raider Nation, we would love to hear from you, so here's how you can get in touch with us. Leave us a message on the Only Nation podcast voicemail line at 904-701-8667. That's 904-701-8667. Or you can also text us at that number. Our email address is onlynationpod@gmail.com, and we can also be found on Twitter and Instagram at onlynationpod. You can also check us out on Facebook and YouTube. Just search The Only Nation Podcast. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to us on your favorite social media accounts and podcasting apps. And don't forget to send us a message with your name and address, and we'll get some free Raider merch sent out to you. Also, check out our website at onlynationpod.com.
All right. In our first segment,
here's the latest Raider news.
the Raiders came off their bye week and couldn't repeat their performance from the Chiefs game. They lost to the Bucs 45-20.
Ouch.
They kept the game close through the first three quarters, but were outscored 21-3 in the fourth quarter.
Unbelievable.
It was sad. Derek Carr went 24 of 36 for 284 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. He also added 2 rushes for 19 yards, which was actually the majority of the running game.
Yeah, he was the second leading rusher on the team.
Yeah, the rushing game was pretty stymied as far as running backs go. Josh Jacobs had 17 yards on 10 carries. Jalen Richard rushed 7 times for 24 yards, and Devontae Booker added 5 yards on 3 carries. Not a good performance as far as running went.
Not a great day on the ground.
No, not at all. We obviously needed Trent Brown, and yes, we need Richie Incognito to come back too. Good. He does solid. He does good. Good does good. But we need Richie Incognito back big time.
I heard one of the talking heads last week said the Raiders were ground and pounded.
Yeah.
It wasn't like we were pounding, the ground and running there rock all over the place. That's for sure.
And we were pounded.
We were pounded.
Yeah. All right, but hey, Nelson Aguilar had a big day as far as numbers go, putting up 5 receptions for 107 yards and a touchdown. Darren Waller hauled in a touchdown on his 6 receptions and 50 yards. Hunter Renfrow added 4 receptions for 42 yards, and Henry Ruggs had 35 yards on 2 catches. Alec Ingold, again, brought in 1 big catch for 21 yards. Seems like that guy's always making at least 1 big play a week. We need more of that. All right, Corey Littleton and Trayvon Mullins led the defense with 8 tackles apiece. And Nick Kwiatkowski and Eric Harris added 7 tackles each, and Harris had a forced fumble. Nevin Lawson and Jeff Heath also had 6 tackles. Unfortunately, the defense had no sacks on Tom Brady.
All right, I get to present a lot of the bad news. Not that there's any really good news, except for we're coming out of the other end. But to wrap it all up, guard Gabe Jackson was ejected from the game. Nobody really knows why, though. Officially, they say that Gabe stepped on Ndamukong Suh's shoulder, but I didn't see it. I looked several times over the game tape. Now, Trent Brown did his absolute best to keep us from winning this week by getting the starting offensive line and Jonathan Abram placed on the COVID-19 list. The rest of the starting line, that's Colton Miller, Denzel Good, Rodney Hudson, and Gabe Jackson, came off the list early enough to play this week, but Abram missed the game by still being on the list. The reason all of them had to go on the list was because Brown had turned off his tracking bracelet, so contract tracers were unable to determine how much contact Brown had with them. Therefore, all the team were placed on the high-risk list. So let's just put that episode behind us and hope it never gets repeated again. Due to the high number of positive COVID tests, the NFL moved the Bucs game from being the primetime Sunday night game to a Sunday afternoon game. They did that to protect the Sunday evening slot with the potential of moving it to either Monday or Tuesday, but then they kept the game at Sunday afternoon in the 4 p.m. slot East Coast time. Jonathan Abram was activated off the COVID-19 list on Monday. So that's 2 days ago as this podcast goes in. So it looks like he's good to go for the Cleveland game.
And I have one thing to say. It's a little out of character for me. Fuck Trent Brown. Fuck him.
I don't think that there's a lot of people that would disagree with you in that sentiment.
No. That was definitely the downfall of that team, or at least for that game. When you're facing distractions like that, it's hard to overcome, especially missing Jonathan Abram. He's a big part of that defense. And Jeff Heath, he put up a solid performance. He did get burned a lot. He played well. But, we needed Abram, you know what I mean? And that way Heath can come in and provide that backup, that rotation, helping the rotation. But, Jonathan Abram was definitely missed. And then, Trent Brown, when he does play, he's good. He's worth the money when he plays. But come on, man. Availability is the best ability, right? And he's never available.
He's played like a grand total of 1 game so far this year.
It's unreal.
Right.
Fuck him. Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
That's okay.
Okay, and that brings us to our next segment.
And now it's time for another Heidi's High Five.
All right, here is this week's version of Heidi's High Five. Number 1, trade talk. Quinnen Williams from the Jets. Now, people who know me know that I was hoping for Quinnen Williams to be on the board when the Raiders drafted back in 2019. But he went right before the Raiders pick. So although it may be tough to get a trade done, I can stomach giving up a 3rd and a 5th and bring in a guy who I think can pair up well with the existing talent and really make an impact. He's still on his rookie deal, and he's already registered 3 sacks and 25 tackles this year on an absolutely crappy team. Number 2, here's some more trade talk. Anthony Harris from the Vikings. He's 29 years old, and he's on a franchise tag, so the Raiders would have to extend him. He's a definite upgrade at safety, and I think this will be in addition to that back end. The Raiders lost out on Byron Jones, and they passed on Jamal Adams, so I say let's not let this one get away. Number 3, they say that 2 or 3 plays make a difference in games. Last week against the Bucs, everyone was pointing to that 3rd and 13 that they let Brady and Tampa offense convert on, and also going for the field goal instead of going for it on 4th down. Well, I say the 2 plays were, number 1, the touchdown that the Raiders gave up in the last minute of the first half to put them down 11 rather than 4 going into the locker room. And number 2, the play right before the before-mentioned field goal. Faced with the 3rd and 4, Derek Carr passed the ball to Darren Waller for a pickup of 2 yards. Now, I've mentioned this many times on the podcast. You have to run the route deep enough to move the chains. This simply cannot happen. Number 4, regardless of whether you make a trade for safety or not, move LaMarcus Joyner back to safety. I can no longer trust Harris and Heath working together. They can come in as complementary pieces, but you cannot have them on the field at the same time. Just my opinion. Joyner at the free and Abram at the strong. If you're sticking with the current roster, this is the way you have to go. Are you listening to me, PG? And number 5, playoff teams have to string together victories. Last year, the Raiders dropped a game against Houston to fall to 3-4, and they could have easily been 4-3 before going on the run that they did. Last week's game, to me, was not the critical game. This game, however, I believe, is the critical game. The Raiders will be going up against a defense that is not as good as the last three they faced. But do you know what the Browns have been doing this year? Just winning. Time to take back that mantra that belongs to us. Just win. And that is this week's first Heidi's High Five.
Just win, baby.
You know, I'm looking at the trade talks that you got right here. Quentin Williams, okay. You know, he doesn't look too bad. His contract, he's on that rookie contract, as you mentioned. But he's had 2.5 sacks and 3 sacks this year. It's only 5.5. Cleveland Farrell hasn't had any this year, but he's already had 4.5. So I don't know. Depends on what we got to trade for him. You know, he was picked just before Cleveland Farrell, so I'm not sure I would want to give up any kind of high draft picks for this guy. He could end up just being another Cleveland Farrell. And then Anthony Harris, I don't like that trade because then we got to turn around immediately and sign him, and we got other guys coming up like Colton Miller, you know, who we need to get signed. And of course, you know, the right tackle situation that we have, Trent Brown, we got to figure out what we're going to do with that next year. And there's no dead cap space or whatever, you know, with him. But I don't know. I don't want to start trading for guys that are on franchise tags. That kind of worries me.
Praise be, moving Joyner back to safety. Can I hear it in the back?
Yeah.
You heard it from me.
Yeah, I'm starting to buy into that. I kind of wanted him to work out at the slot, but it's not working out. So, yeah, at this point, with Gruden talking about making adjustments player-wise and scheme-wise, that would definitely be a good move, in my opinion, you know. Because, yeah, Eric Harris, I wanted him to play well also, but he just hasn't. He's a solid tackler in the open field, but he's not there mentally, I don't think, this year.
Joyner's best years were at safety.
Yeah. And let's see what Amik Robertson has, you know, because Joyner's just not getting it done. So maybe it's time to see what Amik Robertson has.
It's his time to step up in the slot, and we'll see what we have.
Yeah. And then I just want to add another big play that Gruden's been talking about all week, that 3rd and 13. You cannot give up 3rd and 13. We're always giving up 3rd and longs. You know what? We got the offense. We're averaging 28 points a game. We need a defense, period. We need a defense, and we can't give up, you know, 3rd and long when we're down by 4 points. Yeah, because you're right. That touchdown at the end of the first half, that was a big momentum shift in that game. But we could have got that back if we would have got off the field on that 3rd and long.
I will tell you this: if Jonathan Abram is on the field, they do not pick up that first down.
It's a possibility. It's definitely a possibility.
Okay, and now let's take some time to listen to our interview with Wayne Mabry, the Violator.
Get some.
Our guest today requires no introduction. If you're a Raiders fan, you know who he is. His friends call him Wayne. The rest of the world knows him as the Violator. He's here to talk with us today. Welcome to the show, Wayne.
Thank you, Heidi. Pleasure being on. And the rest of my distinguished cast members, how's everybody doing?
We're doing well. Thanks for coming on, Wayne. I really appreciate this.
Doing wonderful. We're looking forward to this.
Let's do it.
All right.
14 inches.
So, Wayne, how did you come up with the concept or the design of the character known as the Violator?
Well, that's been my kindred spirit, Heidi, since I was in grade school. Always carried that attitude with me. Never thought in my wildest dreams I would be putting on war paint to show the world what I really feel like inside every day.
Just letting those colors fly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The attitude fly. The colors, you already know what they're going to be.
Now, your typical outward appearance, how much does that match the Violator look?
That's a carbon copy, just flipped inside out.
All right.
So, but there was a progression, right? Can you take us through the progression of the Violator?
Oh my Jesus. Okay. Well, you know what? I just started working in construction a few years previously, so I didn't have a lot of money to throw around. So everybody remembers Mad Max. So
Oh yeah.
I couldn't even afford a full shoulder pad set. So I had one set of shoulder pads. I split it with a buddy of mine, took a belt and strapped it onto the shoulder pads so it would hold it on my shoulder. And that's where I started out. I had pom-poms just for that fringe effect as I moved around. And, just my black jersey and that war paint. And that was it, brother. We going to war because it's game day.
That's awesome.
Definitely.
When did you adopt the shoulder pads under the jersey?
That was in 1992, I think. And actually, my spikes had gone through a transformation too. They looked like some sweet peppers, and at first. So I got some lady from Hollywood that made me a mold where you see the look that they have now. So all of that was progression, but I knew how I wanted to look. It was just a process of getting to that look. And that's been the most fun part, the journey itself.
Okay, when I've heard you talk about different layers to yourself and not just to the costume, but who you are as a person, I was wondering if you would be able to shed some light on that. We want to know what goes on beyond the surface of the Violator.
Beyond the surface, Heidi, and you always hear me refer to layers because my personality has layers. I don't know if I would say that's multiple personalities, but I know that it is. But just for the interview's sake, you only get so deep into my layers. And then there's a filter that blocks everything else out. I'm kind of a private person, real mild-mannered, soft-hearted, but that other side of me, the Jekyll and Hyde, that's where I have to put the layers on because everybody's not ready for that intensity.
Nice.
All right, Wayne, we're going to kind of shift gears a little bit here. Now, we're going to look at the team. Now, we believe almost 98% that Tom Flores is finally going to make it into the Hall of Fame. Now, if you could make your case to the Hall of Fame voters right now about another Raider getting into the Hall of Fame, who would be the person that you would go to bat for?
My bat would be swinging for Tom Flores. I mean, what else does this guy have to do? Let me think who else deserves to be in there that isn't. Cliff Branch would be another one. These guys paved the way for these youngsters that's playing right now. They set the standard high. Like I say, Tom fought all of the obstacles and still succeeded as a player and a coach. So his track record should speak for itself. Cliff Branch, the invention of speed. Nobody had ever seen that kind of speed before. And now you don't even hear his name mentioned. So it's how quickly these guys are forgotten kind of insults me.
Yeah, and I think we're all kind of glad and keeping our fingers crossed that they do keep their promise, because I think they've made a virtual promise that Tom Flores is going to get in, and I hope that Cliff Branch's time is not too far in the future. Now, speaking of the present Raiders, in your opinion, what are one or two things that this current Raiders roster and team can do to get back on the winning track?
It all boils down to chemistry. We know we have the talent there, but talent based on the draft is on paper. What we're used to seeing from this team is attitude. That's what I see really missing, to be all honest. The attitude, the grit, the doggedness, the want to. You can't coach those things that I'm speaking of.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The Raider mindset, take what you want. The quarterback must go down. He must go down hard. All of those things, commitment to excellence. I think that's kind of what this younger team is missing right now. Of course, I want to ask about Derek Carr, but let's just go ahead and go with Trayvon Mullen. He's grading out to be one of the better cornerbacks in the league this year. And in the previous podcast that we've been recording, I've been talking about him becoming the best cornerback that we've had since Nadi Asamoah and or Charles Woodson. Can you talk on Trayvon Mullen a little bit?
Yes, this young man has an abundance of talent, and I'm looking for an alpha dog to step up on that defensive side especially. We haven't had that, I forget how many years ago. I'm going to just go back and say since Greg Biekert and Charles Woodson, those guys kind of kept everybody in line, and that's what we've seen on this year's schedule, these games. Sometimes we're all out of position, running around like they're lost. Instead of attacking, and influencing that offense by that pressure that we, induce ourselves. That's what I really see missing. But like I say, give Trayvon another year or two, and we're gonna hold the bar high for him to step up and be a leader.
Oh yeah, we've had, like you mentioned, Greg Beekert. We haven't had too many linebackers that can be that alpha dog for us. We hope that Kwiatkowski can be that guy for us. But a guy that comes to mind when you talk about alpha dog on the defense is Jonathan Abram. You've seen a lot of great Raider safeties in your lifetime. Eddie Anderson, right? We got Jack Tatum, Atkinson, and the list can go on, right? But what do you think about John Abram?
Look, he's a throwback. He's a throwback in a young man's body. That mentality right there, if he could just do a blood transfusion to the rest of the 52 other players, we'd be set.
Amen to that.
He's got that alpha dog in him for sure. So I guess I want to go back to Derek Carr. The Raider Nation, you're always talking about being positive as a nation, and the Raider Nation has been hard on Derek Carr. But this year, man, he's playing up to that 2016 standard that he set. What are your thoughts on Derek Carr?
Look, he's still got my vote. This is instant gratification generation. No patience with letting stuff develop. Now, he's gone through different coaching staffs, different schemes. So this guy is still showing that he's a leader, and you can see his will to win. No coach can put that in him. Now he's got some pieces around him, and you see the offense going out and being more versatile. But outside of that, winning cures all. And that's what the rest of the nation is waiting to see under his leadership. Now, that's a lot of pressure on a young man. But like I say, he's been here 6 seasons or so, and it's just time to tighten up the bootlaces and let's go.
How do you feel about our new home? I know that you brought the Violator to pass when we were in Los Angeles, and you, of course, followed it back to Oakland. But how do you see Raiderdom in Las Vegas now?
Heidi, I'm going to put it as quick as I can. We will never change that fandom. That passion that we have is global. If Vegas expects a different mentality, then they brought the wrong team to town and built the Death Star for the wrong team, because once we can get inside, all this stuff will come into fruition. It's going to be jumping.
Amen.
Amen to that.
All right, Wayne, we have a couple of minutes. Give us a little info and background on the credit repair that you offer, Moto Sports, and the V57s.
Thank you for asking that, T. Listen, my signature V57s were designed for me by a cigar manufacturer who knows that I'm a cigar aficionado. He felt that I needed my own brand, so that was a blessing to me. So I'm open to sharing them with whoever gets in touch with me. There will not be a website. Contact me directly and enjoy the flavors that I enjoy on a daily basis. My credit restoration business, I just started it in May, but this was a godsend to me. I'm a client and also an agent. So anybody who's in need of that, get a hold of me through my social media, and I can send you links and, like I said, get you started. Get those FICO scores up so we can pay less interest on the things that we purchase every day.
Now, you also have some great merchandise on motorsports.com. Can you share that with the Raider Nation?
Definitely. That's my passion, going all the way back to my bodybuilding days in the 80s. It's just inspirational sportswear, and you'll see some of my positive messages on that. My dream is to have that worn globally. That's what I'm still hoping to see. So check my website, moto-sports.com.
All right, Wayne, we cannot let you get out before we give you this opportunity. Now, if you have been given the opportunity to give the Raider Nation a 2 to 5 minute pep talk, and the floor is yours, what would you say to the Raider Nation?
Listen, family, we've been through the ups. We've survived the downs. We've been stepped on, ridiculed, misunderstood. We will still survive all of that. The main thing is remaining unified in our cause. We united under that shield. Anything else is unacceptable. And other than that, teach respect, teach Generation Next how it's supposed to be done so that tradition can be carried on regardless of where we're at in this world.
Just keep planting seeds, right?
Keep planting the seeds, baby. We are Raiders.
Spread the seeds and plant them deep.
Plant them deep.
Keep grinding. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Look, it's my pleasure anytime. I'm all about positivity and keep uplifting that shield because it was Al's dream coming into fruition.
Wayne, thank you so much for coming in with us tonight.
Yes, thank you. We love you.
My pleasure, guys. Keep inspiring. Keep inspiring.
Yes, sir.
All right, and thanks again for coming and joining us, Wayne. We really love it whenever you can stop by.
Yes, Wayne. I appreciate all the support, that you've given me, and definitely coming on this podcast is just a continuation of that, so I very much appreciate it. That's true. So Raider Nation, also make sure you hit him up on motorsports.com. He's got some great merchandise on there. I've also purchased some of his V57 cigars. And you know what? Give him a shot if you need help with that credit repair, man. He's always working hard. And so he can get it squared away for you.
Might be the hardest working man in Raider Nation. All right, so game prediction, guys. We are away this week. We are playing at Cleveland. Where do you see this game going for us?
I say just point blank to the simple, to the line, 38-17 Raiders.
Oh my God, you really do? You think our defense is going to make that kind of turnaround? I've been trying to, I've been hoping, fingers crossed, this whole time that our defense is just going to turn it on. And it looked like they could do it, considering what they did in the second half versus the Chiefs. But I don't know, man. I mean, they're always having this one quarter where they have this like breakdown, and we can't do that. I mean, and to me, yeah, I know there's a lot of questions about the scheme and even personnel, but that's just something like, I mean, they're making mental mistakes, it's more about execution and stuff, so I don't think we're going to be able to fix that this season with 7 or so different new people, on the squad. I mean, they're just not used to it, something's not on, they can't get it right. They can't turn it on. But, and then like, as far as Cleveland's defense, they're 5th against the rush, so they can easily make us one-dimensional, So I'm not sure. Of course, they are 30th against the pass, so Derek Carr can definitely pick them apart. But, I mean, if we're one-dimensional, I don't know, And then they can run, too. They can run, and our defense is, against the run is 17th. You know what I mean? So they could easily turn it against us, our time of possession. Our Gruden ball, they could turn against us. And we had the time of possession in the last game. We still couldn't get it. I don't know, man. This one, I'm starting to get worried. I really am, because you're looking at the Chargers quarterback. What's his name?
Justin Herbert.
Yeah, Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert's, he's coming on strong. We still got to face Phillip Rivers. Of course, I think we can beat the Broncos. They're pretty bad. The Jets, too. But, we got the Chiefs coming up again. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm starting to get a little worried. It's starting to look more like 8-8 to me. I went over the schedule today, and I'm like, man, if our defense can't step it up, we might drop to 8-8 in my predictions.
I see a group of angry guys in silver and black showing up on Sunday and turning the tables.
And I see the defense still not being able to put much together, but the Raiders walking away 35-32 winners.
I mean, that's what it's going to take. It's going to be a shootout. You know what I mean? It's definitely going to be a shootout. Because our points per game, we're allowing 32 points a game. You know what I mean? That's not going to get it done. That is not going to get it done. That's what I called into the Raider Nation radio, where they were asking, what do we have to average as far as points? And I said 24. But we can't have our defense giving up 30, and now we're giving up 32 points. Statistically, I think I've heard that this is the worst defense that we've had in a long, long time. But I don't know. Fingers crossed. I want to believe. But yes, they're gonna have to come back pissed off, and not just that, but stay pissed off. Turn that into plays, execute, be in position, do your job, but then make the play, make a big play. That's what it's going to take. And then again, where's special teams? Like, we have no return game. Carlson's like the only hope that we have on special teams. Like, it is just our offense right now that is contributing to these wins in my mind. Of course, against the Chiefs, the second half, the defense stepped up and helped us, but in these shootouts, it's the offense that's saving our asses.
I could be wrong, but I'm going to make a prediction. Baker Mayfield is going to hand out some early Christmas presents to the Raider Nation this year.
I hope so. But for me, my prediction in this one, I think we're going to lose this one. I think that, because they're going to be trying to change personnel around and change the scheme up a little bit. So I think we're going to fall in this one and lose 2 in a row. But then I think that we'll come back and we'll play strong after that. Like I was saying a minute ago, we got the Chargers and the Broncos and the Chiefs. So I think that we're going to lose this one, and then we're going to come back strong versus the Chargers and the Broncos. But again, it's going to be another shootout versus the Chargers.
Yeah, I can see it going either way.
All right, Raider Nation, give us a call and give us your predictions for the next couple of games. And give us a call and let us know what you think about what does Wayne mean to you? What does the Violator mean to you? And what does he mean to the Raider Nation? We'd love to hear from you. So give us a call at 904-701-8667, 904-701-8667. Leave us a voicemail or a text message, and we'll play those and read those on the show.
We did receive some messages this week, but it was pretty much Craig and I talking about how much it sucked the way they screwed us on that game. Fuck Trent Brown.
The theme
and the referees.
Yeah, that's the theme of the episode. Fuck
pretty much
Trent Brown. And then you were talking about that Gabe Jackson. Like, I thought that the NFL came out and said that actually didn't happen. So yeah, fuck the referees too. They're always finding a way to fuck us, man. And of course, Ndamukong Suh is the one that pulled Gabe Jackson like that. Like, if Burfict got kicked out because he was on a short leash, well, how is Ndamukong Suh not on a short leash?
He's not a Raider. That's why.
It's true. It is true.
It's all about the colors silver and black.
All right. And here we go.
Hey Homer, did you know?
Here's this week's version of Homer Did You Know, and it's not a guessing game. So you can just kind of sit back and relax. All right, boys and girls, gather around the fire, and I'm going to share with you a little story about Al Davis. On October 19, 1979, during Tom Flores' first year as head coach, Caroli Davis, Al's wife, suffered a heart attack and a stroke. She was rushed to Oakland's Merritt Hospital, where she was in a coma. The football season went on, but for the only time in his lifelong association with the Raiders, Al wasn't with the team. He stayed by his wife's side. Day after day, Al sat beside her bed, and he slept there too, when his eyes couldn't stay open anymore. He basically lived out of a storage room on the same floor and called old friends around the country to locate heart specialists. Anyone who said they could help, he had them flown in. Now, as things continued to look hopeless, Al continued to sit next to his wife, squeeze her hand, talk to her, talk about their dreams together. Al himself, in a rare reflection on his softer nature, even said, "I might have made some promises too." After 17 days, and after hearing talk of potentially pulling the plug, Al Davis was out in the corridor stretching his legs when a nurse came out and asked him if he wanted to talk to his wife. When he came into the room, she was sitting up and talking. After a near brush with death, well, more than just a brush, she went through therapy and after a year was declared 97% recovered. And that was 41 years ago. Now, people claim that Al brought Caroli back from the dead. They also claim that he did the same thing for a Raiders office worker named Del Courtney 8 years before, who laid in a bed paralyzed for 3 months. As he was on death's door, Al kept telling him, "You're a Raider. Raiders don't die." And he recovered. Despite the fact that some people claim it was Al's love and emotion that helped 2 people overcome death, Al said in an interview to Inside Sports, "I only want to be loved by certain people, my players, the people I live with. No, not by humanity. I push it away because I don't need it. Maybe everyone else should work at it, but we need a few people to lead and dominate and get things done. I feel the role of love belongs to other people. Now, whatever you want to say about Al, his presence could be felt even if it wasn't seen. And it was on the field just a few days after his death in October of 2011, when a strange autumn wind blew into Houston, that the Raiders pulled out a victory with only 10 men on the field. 10 men that you could see, that is. But I wonder, a little tale from the dark side as we approach Halloween this weekend. And that is this week's version of Homer, did you know?
That's awesome. No, that's a great story. No, I did not know that, that he was by Carol's bedside. That's awesome, that is passion, and it's great that we were talking about Carol going out and lighting the torch. I mean, that makes it even better, Yeah, Al, man. Loyal, right? Very loyal person. So those are awesome stories.
As long as you didn't cross him.
Right. Even though that was a great segment, probably the best segment next to the interview, I guess it's time for what everybody says is the best segment on the show, which I came up with.
Mm-hmm.
Heidi's Heroes.
Believe it or not, I'm walking on air. I never thought I could feel so free. Flying away on a wing and a prayer. Who could it be?
Tuesday, September 10th, 2019, was the day that changed Raiders defensive end Chris Smith's life forever. Always the journeyman player, he found himself playing in Cleveland for the Browns. While their nanny watched Smith's 4-week-old daughter Haven, Smith and his girlfriend Petara, or PJ, went out for a much-needed night together. After a good 3 hours of relaxation and conversation, the pair headed home. What happened after that can only be described as a nightmare. Smith was driving them home and admits he was going 10 to 15 miles an hour over the speed limit. He hit something in the road which caused a tire to blow out. Their car slammed into a concrete barricade and eventually came to rest in the far right lane of a 4-lane highway. Miraculously, neither of them were hurt. Petara, or PJ, got out of the car to survey the damage while Smith looked for his cell phone in the car. It was then that Smith heard an awful bang. Cordero had been hit by another car and died instantly. Smith was taken to the hospital and released. When he got home, he told PJ's family what had happened. He then walked to a neighbor's house and fell into his arms crying. His neighbor was Baker Mayfield. "Anything you need, man," Baker Mayfield replied. "I've got you." Since then, Smith has persevered on. He's raising his daughter as he adjusts to his new team, the Raiders. I guess thinking about it, I have two heroes in this story. Obviously, Chris Smith is the first one, but Baker Mayfield is another. Kudos to both of them for being open with each other, to Smith for keeping on, and to Mayfield for standing with his friend during his darkest hour. Both of you are my heroes.
That's tragic, Oh man, I couldn't imagine going through something like that. But man, I don't even know what to say.
As big a football fans as we are, that kind of puts football all in perspective.
Yeah, he's definitely a Heidi hero, though.
Yeah,
be able to pick up off after that and raise a little girl, still trying to be the best at your trade, which is absolute world elite. It's gotta be tough.
Hopefully there'll be many happy stories to tell and to share.
And then just on top of that, Heidi's here, I also wanted to mention again the Pups and Pints 5K. The virtual 5K is going on right now, but you can go to the website pnp5k.com, and you can toss in a little donation through their PayPal link.
And the retail store is up. They can buy some cool T-shirts and pint glasses as well.
I didn't even look around. I just threw in a donation. Maybe I have to go back. Yeah.
There we go.
But yeah, it's really super simple. Just go in there, hit donation, buy something. In memory of Marigold, wonderful dog. And continues to help animals, four-legged, and it helps us two-legged ones too.
And we had almost 300 people register for the race this year, so that's great. We had people as far east as the east coast of Maryland, all the way out to Seattle, Washington.
Oh. And if I wouldn't have gotten so dang sick for 2 weeks in a row, you would have had someone from Alaska.
Well, you get a pass this year.
But I did make my contribution in Marigold's name.
Absolutely. And that was much appreciated.
So anyways, it's still going on through the weekend. So if you guys are inclined, we would love it if you could go and support T3 and his organization as they raise some funds for our fur friends.
Or leave a message on the Only Nation podcast, and Homer's going to tell you how, and I will personally get back in touch with you.
There you go.
Nice.
All right. Thanks again, everyone, for listening to us on the Only Nation podcast.
Be sure to give us a call, Raider Nation. We want to hear from you. You can leave us a voicemail at 904-701-8667. Hey, and that's how you get to talk to T3 also. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at onlynationpod. You can email us at onlynationpod@gmail.com. And you can find us on Facebook and YouTube. Just search The Only Nation Podcast. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to us on all your favorite social media accounts and podcasting apps. And don't forget to send us a message with your name and address, and we'll get some free Raider swag sent out to you. Also, check out our website at onlynationpod.com.
Until next time, everyone. Go Raiders and fuck Trent Brown.
Go Raiders.
Time to get back on track as we head to the Mistake by the Lake.
Heidi, that's not a very positive message.
I'm not feeling very positive about Trent. Who knows? I might edit out one of them.
He's going to block you on Twitter.
Just put some bleeps in there.
Oh, yeah, I guess I should do that.